It's recording?
Yep.
Cool. You're just gonna be reading.
When else do I get the chance?
This might be a little distracting.
I'll try to be quiet. Oh, to you or to
Yes,
me?
to me.
Because usually I just sit here.
I don't know why that makes me feel more self-conscious.
That I'm reading?
Yeah.
That I'm not intently watching you?
Yeah. Because it's like, oh god, I'm boring you.
No. It's just I'm gonna watch this footage for like 5 hours while I'm editing it.
Hello, and welcome back to the ever-changing decor on my desk. First of all, I just want to start off saying thank you so much to the new subscribers. Okay, so I know it's still not a lot of people, but it really does mean the world to me. I'm starting to see comments coming in and I am reading those. So the next couple of videos coming up will be Moon Knight, and I'll be doing a video on DID versus Tulpomancy. So those will be the next ones coming out.
Is that a new D&D class?
D&D class? Well, it's not a DID class, so...
Tulpomancy.
That was good. Thank you. Anyway, so I am Smidge. I'm the host of our system, and today we're going to be delving into the topic of how much trauma, like, help.
Didn't you say you have a...
I know, I just need to get back into the swing of things. Hold on.
Do you want your script for reference?
When I say help, I don't actually mean it.
Then what?
So today we are going to talk about how much trauma is enough trauma to develop DID. So that can actually be kind of a complicated question because there are a multitude of factors that play into what
Get a script.
I didn't write one.
This is your problem.
I have tooth earrings. They're little teeth. And I do have my helper Lucy here today. Hi, baby. Want to say hi? No, she does not want to say hi.
Is she hugging her tail?
Yes, she is.
That is pretty damn cool.
So how much trauma is enough trauma to constitute developing DID? That is a really complicated question. And there's a couple of reasons for why that's so complicated. The first reason is because trauma is relative. At any point in a person's life, trauma is relative. So what may be traumatic to me might not be a traumatic experience to you. Some things that may be universally traumatic between a number of people, but you still heal from it differently. You may not develop PTSD from it, for example. You may still need therapy from it. You may have been wounded from it, but you may not have developed a post-traumatic disorder from it, if that makes sense. And to develop DID is particularly tricky because there is a particular time frame in which you need to develop it, and a particular set of almost prerequisites which you need to develop it as well. First of all, you need to develop it before the ages of 7 to 9, somewhere within that range. And the reason for that is because of something we call structural dissociation. Before the ages 7 to 9, a child's personality is not completely coalesced. And what that means is that it is slightly fragmented, but it doesn't have amnesic walls like you would see in DID. It's something that we would call personality states. It's not like the child has different personalities, it's just different personality states. So for example, with a baby, a baby doesn't have a personality yet, but it does have personality states. So it has a happy state, it has a hungry state, it has an angry state. And so it has different emotions and reactions that go with that state of being an emotionality. Those slowly develop as you get older and you gain more and more personality and emotional states as you grow up. And past the ages of 7 to 9, those personality and emotional states grow together to become one personality. And for 98 to 99% of the population, that is what happens, is it all comes together into one personality. But for a person to develop DID, first of all, that child needs to already have the ability and the tendency to dissociate to a high level. So when you have all of these different emotional and personality states, when you have repeated trauma happening to this child, one of the defense mechanisms that can happen is to create amnesic walls between these states of being. So the scared emotional state, emotional personality state, is the one that experiences this particular trauma. And so then the happy personality state can still go to school and go to daycare and be this happy-go-lucky kid, and it doesn't have to remember what happens at this other place where this trauma goes on. Those amnesia barriers are so crucial, and so then when it comes to that age where it's time for these personality states to come together to form one personality, it can't. And so it has all these fragmented states, and the amnesia walls prevent it from becoming one personality, because the brain has created this defense mechanism to prevent the person from remembering one trauma when it's in one state and vice versa. And so then that is a continuation throughout the life of this person. Significant trauma happens enough that it needs to be blocked off from the rest of this person's being. It can block that experience off so regular life can continue. So you can function in day-to-day life without constantly being haunted and brought down by this experience and all these PTSD flashbacks and triggers and things that would make trying to function, going to school, going to work, making friends, making food for yourself every day nearly impossible. So going back to the question of, was my trauma enough to develop DID?
Yes.
If you were asking that question, the answer is probably yes, because another very common symptom of DID is imposter syndrome. And what that is this question of the authenticity of your diagnosis. And it can be so insidious in making us sit there and question our own experiences and viewing other people's experiences as valid and as close as they are to our own experiences, our own experience couldn't possibly be valid. And another big part of this disorder is denial, because we're not supposed to know that we have this disorder. Again, if you're asking yourself, was my trauma enough to cause not even just DID, but was my trauma enough to cause DID, PTSD, OSDD, whatever it is? If you're asking yourself this, yes, it was enough, because trauma, again, is relative. And think about how old you were. If you think objectively, would this hurt a 2-year-old? Would this hurt a 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 9-year-old, 13-year-old? Then yes, of course it would have hurt you at that age. All of this to say, be kind to yourself and give yourself grace. Give yourself permission to heal and acknowledge that it was not a weakness that you were hurt. Because when you start there, that is the basis you need to start healing. Because when you still have that shame and that questioning attached to that trauma, to that hurt, it's going to keep pulling you back into it. And I feel like such a hypocrite saying that, because I constantly am feeling the shame of, sometimes I tell myself, oh, I let that happen to me. And that's not true. It's just what happened. And it doesn't even have to be what happened to me. It can just be what happened. And even if your own inner voice, if your system, if your own persecutors are telling you otherwise, if they're saying, no, this was you, or no, you should feel ashamed, that's not true. That's not true. It will never be true.
We had some technical difficulties, but now
We have a Buggy.
Yeah, hi, Buggy. Hi. You good?
Mm-hmm. Sorry. I just got really switchy.
With Selena?
Mm-hmm.
What you go first next? Wait, hi, Selena, for your sneak peek.
I can't even process what you're saying. You.
Oh, the camera overheated.
Mm-hmm.
The camera overheated before. So the temperature is high. How you feeling?
I'm a little buttery biscuit. Hello.
Is that spicy, Mama?
I love you so much. What are we recording?
Freeform.
Freeform?
She doesn't have a script. I don't know.
Why doesn't she have a script?
She didn't want to follow a script.
That's not a good idea. For her.
I
in
know.
particular.
I know.
But what is it about?
That you're valid for having.
You're valid.
Thank you.
Not you.
That if you're asking the question, do I have enough trauma to validate having DID?
Probably.
Yeah. I think she was mostly finished.
What was the last thought?
Even if you have persecutors and people in your system telling you could have done better,
Oh, that's bullshit.
please explain. You want to quick introduce yourself? You haven't had.
Oh, hi. I'm Selena. I'm a protector. I'm the system manager.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to be pretentious.
Persecutors, I like to think of them as misguided protectors. So they protect in the only way that they know how, and the way that they know how is usually by hurting you. So, for example, I really don't know if this has anything to do with the rest of the video. So a persecutor may come to be because an external
Abuse.
abuse. Okay, so this external abuse is going on. And so then a persecutor is formed to continue that abuse on the inside, because if we're abusing ourselves in that way, then this external abuse doesn't have to happen anymore. It doesn't always stop that abuse, and then once that abuse isn't happening anymore, there's no cue on the inside of when that needs to stop. And there is a lot of shame that is often connected with
I
persecutors.
feel like I should zoom out with you due to your hand movements.
There is.
Hold on.
All right.
Okay, you slay.
Can we watch All Stars later?
Yeah, we can watch Drag Race.
All right. So there is often a lot of shame that is connected with persecutors, because shame keeps you small. Shame keeps you in a bubble, and when you're small and you're in a bubble, you can't venture out, because when you venture out, that is when you get hurt. That is when you expose yourself to other abusers. So shame keeps you small, keeps you with what you know, and what you know is, even if it is keeping you in a cycle of abuse, it's an abuse you know how to survive. And as awful as that sounds,
Shut down.
should I just sign off?
I guess I did start recording.
I think what we have is so disjointed.
I know. It just. Did you want to finish your rant?
I can't really remember what my rant was.
Well, sorry for this chaotic video. We had to go put the camera in the fridge for a bit, and
It
Zelena
was
changed.
overheating.
I think that's implied if I say I put my camera in the fridge. And Selena changed into something more appropriate.
Thank you for joining us on this roller coaster. I don't know what the sign off is.
Just make up one.
Bye-bye, lovelies.
Lovelies, that's sweet.
We'll see you next
I'm
time.
gonna go film your Meet the Alters now.
Yes, bye-bye.